I really redefined the word slut and made it a word and a term of endearment. I have redefined a word and made it a positive term to make people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
The word slut. Do I think that it will affect the sales? You damn right. People are going to buy it. And people are going to buy it because it's authentic, it's real, it's raw, it's in your face. Sometimes you got to slap people in the face to get them to pay attention.
What have you had to learn about leadership, though?
What I had to learn a lot about leadership, and I'm still learning about leadership.
Yeah.
I'm very impulsive.
Sure.
Right? So how I've grown this company is if I want something, I want it done right now.
Go get it.
Right? Like it needs to happen right now. But I realize as I grow the company and I have so many people in place, there's something called a chain of command. Mm-hmm. So I used to like skip past everybody. Like if I paid you to be everybody's boss, now I used to skip past everybody and tell that person directly. But what I was doing was I was undermining the person who was in charge. So I no longer do that anymore. Yeah. I follow the chain of command, even as the CEO and the creator of this company. Yeah. And if I keep coming and throwing monkey wrenches in their operation, it's just everything is always chaotic because people are always going to listen to the CEO before anybody else, right? So I now follow the chain of command, something that I took a long time to learn how to do. And I'm finally in a place where I've gotten a lot better with that. So I'm proud of me. And when you have power, there are no limits. Yeah. And when there are no limits, you can make impact. And that level of impact will change the course of how people think about the world and the things in and around the world.
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. This young lady needs no introduction, man. She's a boss. Nobody needs an introduction. Yo, because for one, I don't even know if I can say just the founder of Slutty Vegan, because you're doing a lot. Yo, especially I was seeing, okay, she's building a restaurant, then she got another one, and then she's buying up half of Atlanta. And then I'm seeing her I'm seeing you in ads for major companies. Like I use this platform Community, the text, and every time I see it, I was like, that's Pinky. And everywhere I go, that's Pinky, that's Pinky, that's Pinky. Pinky Cole, what's happening, man?
I'm just happy to be here with you again.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
It's like a really good deja vu.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But things were different.
We just got a little older.
Yeah, and
it's not two of us. No.
Right. Well, we both got more kids.
Yes.
And you got more zeros behind your name.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. How do you feel right now in the moment that you're at? Like looking back over, now I know it didn't happen fast, but from when everyone seen you, like we're opening a restaurant, we got lines around the building, to now people think it's like it happened quickly, but how do you feel?
So I feel a lot of things. And we could be totally transparent here, right?
For sure.
Well, first of all, people got to remind me that I raised $25 million and have a company valued at $100 million. People got to remind me of that because I'm so clear and focused that like, that sound good. Yes. Like that's great. It's a big accomplishment, but all right, what's next? What we doing? So like, I am not in the cloud so much that like, I'm just, I can rest and relax. No, now it's time to work harder. Right. So people have to come and remind me of that. I also feel like more money, more problems.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to get into that though. Because like what, other than, okay,
I
employees.
got a whole bunch of new bills when I got a whole bunch more money.
Explain it.
More money, more problems. More money in the bank meant more bills to pay. I got more staff. I got more labor. I got more payroll. And I'm looking at like, bills. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like the fact that I can afford to pay all of these bills just tells me that like when people get more money, they acquire more things and you pay more bills. And that's not always good. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur that is moving to the next level, when you ask me what I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about how to make sure that I keep all my goddamn money because I got a lot of bills.
Right.
You know what I mean?
As somebody that's coming up where you're getting these windfalls of money and like attention, you got this windfall of people, and I'm sure you're taking huge meetings with all these different people. How do you not like, I don't want to say lose yourself, but what are some things to keep in mind as all this stuff is coming your way? Because people think it's, that would be the dream, but it's not always sweet.
Well, I've been grounded for a very, very long time. Like how I was when I was 15 is the same as I am right now. Like I've always been just real authentic. You take me how I am. Yeah. And whether I'm in the room with a billionaire or somebody that got $5 in their pocket, I'm the same person. Yeah. My energy is the same. And when I walk into a meeting, I'm not looking at the person for how much money they got into the account. I'm looking at the relationship that we can build together so that we both can get to the next level, because I am just as much as an asset to you as you are to me. Yeah. So this is no longer a one-way street when I walk in those rooms. So it's not, for me, it's not walking in the door like, oh my gosh, I'm about to sit down with somebody. It's like, okay, they're about to sit down with me. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't always that way though, was it?
It was always that way. Confidently, not cocky, right? I want to be very clear, because I've always been sure of who I am. Even if I was flat broke, I've always been very confident. Even if I didn't know what I was talking about, I've always been very, very confident. And that level of confidence can get you in any single room, right? That level of confidence can get me at the board meeting. It can get me on the golf course. It can get me in the suite at the football game with all the right people, because I am sure of myself.
Man, how do you develop it before you have it? Because quite honestly, maybe this would be a therapy session for me, but I haven't always been super confident. And it's almost like the things that happen, I'm like, wow, this is happening to me. And I didn't think I was going to be here. What type of advice would you give me for that? Because things are happening, but I'm like, I still walk into a room with a major person. First time we interviewed you, I'm like, oh my gosh, Pinky, I don't want to ask her the wrong question. Like,
right. You know why I've always been confident? Because I've always been the underdog. And when I mean the underdog, I've always been the person, and most people won't talk about this, but I've always been the person that had to prove myself. Yeah. And as an adult, I don't know what I was proving, right? But I was always proving that I was good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough. Like I had always had to prove myself as a child. So that level of confidence just really just instilled inside of me, because I was always proving to who I don't know that like I could be all of these things. Now that is generational trauma, right? If you really start to unpack the layer, you realize that I was proving those things because growing up, something had to transpire that made me feel less than for whatever reason. But I like to take a negative and turn it into a positive because that level of confidence made me amass the amount of success that I have today. So my advice to you is, and I don't know if you've ever felt like the underdog in your life before.
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
To this day.
Till this day, right? And if and when you have those moments, use it as motivation to rise above that insecurity and just take life by the balls. And that's exactly what I do. Even with all the success that I've gotten, I still feel like the underdog, and I still feel like I got something to prove, but I'm not proving to anybody else. I'm proving to myself that I could be all the things that I want to be, that I can still be a big dreamer and execute, that I can not only have money in a bank, but make an impact, that I can like create products and change lives. Like that's my thought process now. So I've turned the negative to a positive, and you could do the same thing too.
I like that. I want to know how you've had to mature because with more stuff that comes, more responsibility. What areas have you had to mature in?
All of them.
I would imagine emotional control.
I am an emotional CEO. Like I am, and I'm working on it, right? And I like to be so transparent now because, well, I've always been transparent, but like especially podcasts, because I don't ever want to sit here and be the person like, everything is sweet. That's a lie, right? We go through ebbs and flows. We got speed bumps. I'm the entrepreneur. Yesterday I cried, right? Because I'm like, I'm tired today. Like today just don't feel good today.
About what though? Is it just some sort of emotional thing overtakes me, or was there a specific thing that you're crying about and you couldn't figure it out, or what was it?
Sometimes it's just like, you don't know what you're crying about. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But specifically, my assistants was getting on my nerves, if you want to be honest. and then, you know, I'm a woman. So like I just had a baby 4 months ago, right? So hormonally, I'm all over the place sometimes. But I'm also a very emotional CEO because I did not create my business to make money. Yeah. I created it because it was a passion project for me. So I'm passionate about it. So when things, you know what gets me emotional? When somebody wrote an article about Slutty Vegan yesterday. Right. And this was the first time I think that's probably what the root of the problem was. It was the first time that somebody wrote an article about Slutty Vegan where we didn't give rave reviews. So that was shocking to me. It was a student article, right? Like not a big reach, whatever. I got over it. But it triggered me differently because everybody always loves the brand, right? So when somebody didn't love the brand, it made me pay attention. Like, wait, what's wrong, right? You understand what I'm saying?
I want to say something too real quick. I can imagine people want the love, but when people don't love what people normally love, they take it hard. But if you've never been loved, a little bit of love, you feel it more, but the hate, it's like, oh, I've been hated all my life. Yeah. So the negative comments hurt you.
Yes, it did. And I looked up and I was crying like, Pinky, get it together. What you crying about? But I had to realize what you asked me in the beginning, how do I feel? I'm in transition. And it's a great transition. But guess what happens with transition? New levels, new devils, right? As you elevate, there are going to be elements in that elevation that are going to look unfamiliar. I'm used to everybody loving Pinky. I'm used to everybody loving my brand. The level of elevation that I'm going to in that frequency, everybody ain't gonna love you. Everybody won't appreciate what you do for the community. Everybody won't say, oh, she's dope. Everybody won't say that. And I'm getting to a place where I'm learning how to embrace all of it and not pay attention to the things that I don't need to pay attention to because it's going to get me off of my focus. And the focus of the exercise here is to be clear so that I can continue on this journey and break these generational patterns that have been created for me when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
That's gracious. I know some people will label like a woman like you saying, yo, she's a strong, black, aggressive woman. But I want to say your husband's a strong black man because I can imagine. And I want to ask you about this because you've had 2 children back to back. Oh my gosh. I know how you feel. Okay. Because there's a certain level of emotion that comes with that, right? Feelings, and some days my wife will she on me and I don't know, and I can't figure out why, right? But I know it has to do with like pregnancy, and you haven't slowed down as an entrepreneur. You're still building your business. How often do you have to keep yourself in check to say, oh, that's not one of my employees. Oh, this is the man that I love.
That's funny. We just had that conversation in the car. It is not easy, but it's so very worth it. Yeah. I am about to marry my best friend. Yeah. And I could tell him this because we talk about this all the time. Like, he's really a reflection of me, right? So I'm sure that the person that you're with, like, you love them. There's so many things that y'all have in common. But when I say we like Tia and Tamara, except for he Tion and I'm Tamara, but like, we literally are connected at the hip. Like, the only thing that we don't do is use the bathroom together. We take showers together. There's a level of, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but like, there's a level of codependency. Like, I need him. You understand what I'm saying? I don't just want him, I need him. And I respect him so much that that level of protection may be translated into control sometimes on both sides, right? I'm really talking like some relationship stuff here. So I have to check myself because I'm naturally just a strong personality. And so is he. But what I realize is we need each other to the respect that, like, he fills me up. When my cup feels empty, he fills me up. And when he feels empty, I get to fill him up. And when I don't have any peace in the world, I know that he's the only person in the world that will give me the peace that I need, and vice versa. So like, I really compartmentalize that and make sure that home is doing good. And sometimes I fall short, but I make sure that I do the very best that I can, because that part of my life I need for my sanity. And what makes it even better is that we are in the same field of work. Yeah. So I don't have to like shut it off with him because he always talking about business. Just
right.
Like
he can relate.
So we coexist in the same world, and it makes me feel good to know I got somebody by my side. But it definitely is work.
Yeah. Hey, just prepare yourself, because when you get on the podcast, man, ask you the same question. I'd love to hear your answer too, because he seems more chill, more
no, he ain't.
Nah, yes, he is.
No, he not.
Yo, I've run across him a bunch of times. He the same chill person. Chill. And every time I see you, you be turned. Like, yo, what's up?
No, he turned too. You just ain't seen the turnation. But he's definitely turned.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah. Motherhood. Hard.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of people out here that are making excuses because they're a mother. And I would love to hear what you have to say to that.
Excuses like what?
I mean, the fact that, okay, so my wife, she's at the crib and we have a daughter coming. I mean, we have a daughter here and she's pregnant and she's taking care of the household and she got to deal with me and my stuff that I be having going on. It's hard. It's hard.
My heart looks a little different than that. My heart is mom guilt because I work so much and I got my village. Like when I say I got a village, I got a village. Mm. So my mom guilt is, are my kids going to know me? And when I say know me, they see me every day, right? My kids see me every day when I'm home, but there's a different kind of connection when you are always around your children. I am not always around my children. And most people who are super busy like me won't have these kind of hard conversations, but it's the truth. So I have to really like weigh the odds. Like I'm working this hard now so that one day I could be butt naked on the beach with my kids. Okay? Drinking a Mai Tai and they drinking a coconut water, right? Or I'm going to stay home with my kids. And will I still be successful? Yes. But the life that I want to create for them so that they don't have to struggle or say, mama, shoulda, coulda, woulda, mama, you shoulda. I don't want that for my children. Yeah. The life that I'm creating for them is a life that they will never have to want for anything. Yeah. That they can create their own future based on the foundation that I built. Yeah. But there's some guilt that comes with that because my supportive village always steps in and support, but I'm always on the road. I'm going on tour. I'm going to be gone for the whole month. So my kids got to fly in and come see me. And I want them to understand that mommy is present. And I have to learn how to get over that guilt. And I'm talking to a lot of CEO mompreneurs who are in the same position as me. You ain't got to feel guilty because what you're doing is you're working hard to provide and afford them a better life. And that's what I'm doing. So am I getting over that hump? Yes. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But the moments that I get to spend with my children, like they get all of me. And like, they get tired of me because they get all of me. Like I'm kissing everybody's cheeks all day, every day. But it's not easy, but it's so worth it. I love my babies.
I would imagine like when you're there, you're present. Because there are a lot of people that are around the kids all day, but you're not even present. You're there, but you're always on your phone because your kids are always there. Did your kids increase your hustle? Like, okay, so I feel like
that's a good question. I'm gonna tell you why I know, because my hustle was already on 1,000. I thought having kids was gonna make me go harder. Yeah. No, like I've been going hard. Yeah. Like it just made me more consistent. Yeah. If anything, kids made me softer.
Yeah, like, I think I lost some of my hustle because I just be wanting to be home. Really? And that is I mean, this is something I really struggle with. Do I go hard and like really build a dream so that later they'll be able to live this life that I want to design for them? But I think my daughter being born made me somewhat lazy because I'd be like, man, I'm going home. I'm not just hanging out with my baby. Think of a number in your head. How much do you think it would cost for me, a pretty successful entrepreneur, to coach you every single day, to give you all of the game? I'm talking about every day for an entire year. Monday through Friday, I'm on a virtual call teaching you how I've done the things that I've done, and me updating you every single day in real time on all the business moves that I'm making, all the negotiations that I'm in, everything that I'm doing before I actually do it. How much you think? And let's say Monday through Friday, and then on Thursdays we do a Q&A where not only do you get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, but you get to hear the answer from a whole community, hundreds of other people on a call, and you get their answers that are going to help you too. What do you think? And once or twice a year, get together, free conference that we all get to come to, and you get to meet all these people that you see virtually. How much do you think that would cost every single year? 10,000? Not even close. It would probably be closer to 100,000 because it's just, my time is valuable, and to give you the sauce that's going to help you make millions, I'd have to charge you at least 100,000. But what I've done is created a community where you get the advantage of learning how to become an entrepreneur. You get to network with hundreds of entrepreneurs every single day. You got a community that keeps you inspired and excited. You will read a book club with us every single day. We'll also have an event where we come together once or twice a year for free. We do all of that for $399 for the year. Go ask somebody. I've got receipts of things that I built over the last decade, okay? I am willing to coach you. $399 for the year. Listen, go to themorningmeetup.com or click the link in this video. Let's get back to the episode, but keep in mind, I want to coach you. Let's get started.
Really?
But I need some sort of, I don't know if I've balanced it yet, and will everything slow down because I'm spending more time here, and then maybe this is like my fear. Y'all not judging me, right? Am I thinking maybe I'll go back? What if everything starts crumbling because I'm not going hard and I got to go get another job? Then I'm really away from my kids.
I think we all think about that all the time. Like when I say my brain don't stop, my brain does not stop. Mm-hmm. Because for me, not only am I responsible, I'm half responsible for what happens in my household. I'm also responsible for at least 350 employees. And
do you have 350 employees?
Yes, across the board. Between Slutty Vegan, Bar Vegan, the foundation, 350 employees.
What?
So if Pinky Cole drops the ball, the whole ship could potentially crumble. So I think about those things. So it's not even just the children that came out of my womb. I'm also thinking about the quote unquote family that I have through the business, that how I show up is a reflection of how they can show up to be able to take care of their children. So I can't get lazy, even if I wanted to. My God. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what kids did for me is it just made me more consistent, right? And made me more soft, because I used to be very clear, very direct. I used to be very militant. But now I'm more understanding and I'm more patient, which I think I needed because I was really hard like a rock, and I'm still hard to a T, but I'm more understanding in the workplace, and I also understand that people will sue you. So you have to be mindful on how you communicate with people, and just really be a leader, you know? So like, again, what I said in the beginning, I am in a transition, and I want you to kind of like put my old interview and this interview right beside each other. Yeah, for sure. I definitely have evolved.
You were focused, but not like this. Obviously, like you were focused and like going at it and can intelligently talk about business, but it seems like you've 10x'd since the last conversation we've had. When did you open your second restaurant? What year was that?
2020. 2020.
So about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How many employees did you have at your first restaurant?
My first restaurant, I had probably like 22.
So you go from 22 employees to 350 in 2 years.
350. Let me tell you something very interesting. So when I go around my employees, I don't know a lot of them now. And at first I used to feel bad about it because I used to know everybody. Right. But now I'm like, hi, I'm Pinky. What's your name? And I had to also shake that because I used to feel bad. Like, damn, like, I don't even know them. Like, but I realized I'm building an empire. You won't know everybody's name, but as long as you can make an impact on the people who work for you and with you, then you're doing the right thing. But I definitely don't know people that's working for me.
So tell me about this layered leadership. Like, who's high? Like, okay, so like from your position of, okay, I interview the person, they come on, I like them. Mm-hmm. What was that transition? Because I think there are a lot of people that are watching it. Maybe they have their one restaurant, but now it's going to be time to go to the next level. What was that leadership transition like?
So it's interesting. So I just promoted my CRO. His name is Jason Crane.
I don't even know what CRO is.
Chief Revenue Officer.
Okay. Chief Revenue Officer.
Yes. So I just promoted him to president. And I promoted him to president because I done turned into a D-list celebrity. Okay. So I started doing more interviews and growing the business from the outside. So I had to make a really hard decision. And it was the same decision that I made when I went from one location to 2 and 3. When I used to be in a restaurant flipping burgers and shaking fries and being customer service and HR and all that stuff. And I knew that my business couldn't grow if I was inside of the business. I had to step outside of the business. So after I stepped outside of the business, that's the location number 2, I was working day to day in the business. I just wasn't so much in the restaurants. But then I got to a place where Slutty Vegan started getting super uber popular, and they wanted to know the genius behind the brand. So guess what happens after that? Interviews. On camera.
You're out of the restaurant.
Out of the restaurant. Like literally out of the day to day of the restaurant. So I had to play chess. And playing chess was getting the one person in my business that had the mental smarts and the intellectual energy to be able to continue to take my business to the next level internally so that I can grow the business from the outside. And that was Jason Crane, who was my CRO. And now he's my president. And I'm glad I made the decision.
Did you develop that in him, or did he already come lit?
Well, he came lit. So he has a background. He owned part of Part Pig. He sold his company to his Amazon. He used to work at Google. He's a tech guy, right? So like super smart guy, but he understood business before he came to me. So when he came on board in 2020, I almost like was grooming him into position. All right, here's the business. He's never been in the restaurant industry. And it was an opportunity for him to learn and to grow. And he actually did the negotiations alongside my lawyer for my raise. So when it came time to make that transition to step outside of the day-to-day of the restaurant, I promoted him to president and say, here, Simba, this is the throne. Now you run my company. And although I have the final say on everything, he runs the day-to-day of the company from the inside, and I run the company from the outside.
So he does hiring, marketing, everything?
He doesn't do everything. So we have departments. So I have an operations department. I have a marketing team. I have a catering and booking team. I have the HR department.
But is he over all of those departments?
So he is the overarching element. Gotcha. Yes. So he connects directly with the department heads, and he has his meetings with them, and then he reports it up to me, right? Gotcha. So we have our weeklies, we have our meetings. But the moral to the story is he runs the day-to-day of the business, right? So I'm still very familiar on what happens with my business, strategy, execution. I still go and look at properties to vet out for potential Slutty Vegans. I still go to the high-level meetings. We still have our high-level meetings. All of our company-wide engagements I'm still present for, but I speak on behalf of the business. Gotcha. Nobody talks about the business except for me because I created this company. And the dynamic works.
It's a high level of trust. Well, you have to trust him.
So trust is a very fickle thing, right? When we talk about trust in business, I am trusting that the money that I am giving him to run my company is sustainable enough for him to have a adequate level of living so that he is comfortable enough to be able to run my company in a way that he can use his expertise to do a good job. Right? People will fail you in life, right? I don't put 100% of my trust in nobody. I don't care who it is, right? But what I do know is that I am trusting that what I am putting him in position to do, then he can get the job done. Now, if he proves that otherwise, then he messed it up on his own. But everybody gets the opportunity to have a first chance. Gotcha. And so far, he's been doing a great job.
Good. What have you had to learn about leadership, though?
What I had to learn a lot about leadership, and I'm still learning about leadership. I'm very impulsive, right? So how I've grown this company is if I want something, I want it done right now.
Go get it.
Right? Like it needs to happen right now. But I realize as I grow the company and I have so many people in place, there's something called a chain of command. So I used to like skip past everybody. Like if I paid you to be everybody's boss, now I used to skip past everybody and tell that person directly. But what I was doing was I was undermining the person who was in charge. So I no longer do that anymore. I follow the chain of command, even as the CEO and the creator of this company. Even though I know I could pick up the phone and say, it's my way or the highway. I no longer do that because I am now respecting boundaries of the people that I put in place to be able to run my company because they also need to feel empowered to make certain decisions to lead their team. And if I keep coming and throwing monkey wrenches in their operation, it's just everything is always chaotic because people are always going to listen to the CEO before anybody else, right? So I now follow the chain of command, something that I took a long time to learn how to do. And I'm finally in a place where I've gotten a lot better with that. So I'm proud of me.
Dang, I feel triggered. I do that all the time. I'm like, let me tell you, just do it the way I do.
You got to stop doing that. And I'm also talking to myself too, because there are moments where I just want to pick up the phone and shut down, right? But I also realize that is not a healthy environment to grow and scale a business. And that's a hard conversation that I had to have with myself. And in order to grow this company in a way that I want to grow it, I also have to learn how to respect the boundaries of the people who are in this business with me that's helping me to grow this empire.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch a podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. Gotcha. How many restaurants we got right now?
9.
9 restaurants.
And then Bar Vegan makes 10.
So Bar Vegan makes 10. So 10 restaurants total. 2 years ago, you had 1.
Yeah, damn.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah. And we did it in a pandemic.
In the pandemic. So, you just said you're always looking for new real estate. Do you know, like without a shadow of a doubt, if this is the right place, this is the right area, I'm going to make money, I'm going to plant one here, it's over?
I feel it in my spirit. I'm an empath. Like, I can tell that you're enjoying this interview because I can feel you.
Oh, I love it.
You understand what I mean?
So I'm learning a lot.
Like, I can walk in a room and I can tell if somebody doesn't like me. I feel it. I feel the heat off their chest. Yeah. And I can also feel the love off somebody's chest if they're feeling me. Like, I've always been that way. I know that I have a gift. So my gift is going places and saying, this feels like a Slutty Vegan. I know the atmosphere. I know the kind of customers that come to the space. The air feels different. The energy, the vibe, the frequency feels different. And if it feels good in my spirit, then I'm like, this is a Slutty Vegan.
Do you teach that?
I don't know that you can teach that.
Yeah. Because there are going to be some people that want to be pinky. I want to have my own.
I don't know if you can teach that. I believe that you know what? Let me back up. I feel like we all have that level of intuition. Mm-hmm. Everybody has that level of intuition. How you choose to unlock that intuition, to listen to that voice, is what makes the difference. Yeah. And I have been able to unlock that intuition. And I'm sure that you have it too. Like if you get butterflies, something, you ever say something in my gut don't feel right.
Yeah, all the time.
I don't know. I don't feel good about this. That is the intuition. Yeah. That's all I'm following. Yeah. And because I follow that intuition, I'm like 99.9% right all of the time. It's that 1% that's like, all right, Pinky, what was going on? But like that spirit of discernment, that ain't nothing but God. And that's God talking to me. So I lead with that first. Do all CEOs lead like that? No. Yeah. But I lead like that. Yeah. And that is how I've been able to grow my business because I've always been that way. Again, I did not create my business to make money. I knew that I was going to make money because I've always made money. That level of currency, like, it's just currency, right? I'm more interested in like social and emotional capital, right? That is the currency for me. Yeah. And when I think about growing Slutty Vegan, I tap into this right here to be able to open up these locations. And so far, it's been working for me. Now, if you come across a Slutty Vegan and ain't doing so well, I don't know. But it's been working so far. But I move with my gut in all things.
As a coach or somebody, like I teach entrepreneurship, and like sometimes I'll tell my team something and I can't explain why what I'm saying is right sometimes. But I just know it's that feeling, right? Yeah. But I'm having a hard time translating that to other people to inspire them how to move off their gut, because what I've seen sometimes is their gut feeling is based on their experiences, and their experiences may have led them astray. So people that make wrong decisions, I just felt it in my gut and it was wrong, but they felt it because of their past experiences.
Was it wrong to who? Was it wrong to you? Because it could have very well been right to them. And I think that that's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah.
How I make decisions, you're right, is based off of my experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. It was right for me. Yeah. You may not agree with it, but it was right for me. Can you teach that? I don't know. I never thought of it. But what I do know is that I think that's what separates the most successful people in the world. That sometimes you look up like, damn, like, what did they do to get there? You ever look at people like, wow, like something about them is really special.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking at her.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But there's some people in the world, we all have some specialness to us. But there are some people in the world that just have that X factor, something that you just can't put in a bottle and sell it. I believe you're one of those people too, which is why you have the platform that you have, which is why people want to listen to you, because there is something about you that makes people want to listen. Do you know when I wake up, you always post early in the morning, right? I pay attention to everything. And when I scroll on the internet in the morning, I wake up 4 a.m. every morning, you always dropping nuggets. But something about you makes me want to pay attention. So can you teach it? Maybe, because I listen to you. Right? Like I pay attention to the things that you say and I apply it to my life. Wow. But people got to be able to listen. Yeah. And everybody don't listen.
Yeah, everybody doesn't listen for sure.
You can have a lot of money not listen.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In this, so I know, I heard you say that your company is valued at 100 million.
You better put some.
And no. Yeah. Please. No disrespect. Valued at 100 million. And you said something about 25 million. Is that 25 million revenue?
No, that's $25 million that I raised.
You raised 25 million, but you raised the 25 million to do what with? I'm trying to understand that.
To scale, to open up locations, to find C-suite executives who have experience to help me grow my company, and to be able to take the brand to the next level. Yeah. And we've done that. So between real estate, between opening up restaurants, we just hired a CMO, we just hired a CFO, we just hired a head of CPG. And you know, like
hold on, CPG. Don't tell me. I don't know. Okay, tell me. CPG.
Consumer product goods.
Gotcha.
So basically retail. Yeah. Right? We're already in retail. We're in Target, we're in Costco. And we are going into different markets, and that is what the money is being used for, to be able to do the things that we want to do. When I walked to the table and I agreed to take investment for my business, I was very clear on y'all still I need to be creative. I need to be able to fly and be free, because that's the only way that I agree to take any level of money from anybody. And the good thing about my investors is they know that I'm a very abstract, aboriginal individual and they respect my hustle. So they let us fly and be free respectfully, because I'm very mindful about flipping a bag, right? And flipping a bag means taking that 25 and 10xing that to make so much money that we can do whatever we want with the business and apply it to wherever we want and open up locations internationally and perhaps license if we want to. But it feels good to know that we have that cushion to be able to grow rapidly, because let me tell you what's happening right now. What's happening right now is, I would like to say that Slutty Vegan has been an anchor in the vegan space.
100%.
From a mainstream level. Yeah, definitely. And shout out to the local vegan restaurants that walk so we could run. Okay. Like the soul vegetarians of the world, and the raw Tassilis, and like all the great vegan restaurants in Atlanta. And shout out to y'all. Like, been in Atlanta eating y'all since I've been here.
Yeah.
But what's happening now is there are so many big corporations that are realizing, oh, this vegan movement is hot. Mm-hmm. So we can make money off of this. And because we got the capital, we're going to pop up stores and we're going to start this concept, even though we aren't in alignment with the lifestyle, even though we really don't know much about vegan living. We just want to make money. And more people are popping up these vegan concepts. Mm-hmm. So now we look at it as an opportunity to be able to scale and mass produce locations so that we can monopolize in these markets, because not only do we have a good product, we got a great brand.
Yeah.
And when you got a great brand, there is nothing that you cannot do. Yeah. Slutty Vegan is more than just burgers, pies, and fries, right? We are a lifestyle brand. People tap into us like they tap into a clothing brand because they love the brand so much. So we have an opportunity to scale that at a level in which when you think about vegan food, you think about Slutty Vegan first.
Yeah. The 25, walk me through this 25 million. Did you start to raise it because... Did you think through that, like, yo, these big corporations, they're gonna run over us if we don't do something?
That was part of the thought process, but like, we don't pay too much attention to competition, right? Because competition distracts us from what we got going on, what's in front of us. The conversation more was like, okay, all right, this company is getting too big for me. Let's talk about that. As entrepreneurs, we'll create companies that will outgrow us.
Yeah.
Slutty Vegan has outgrown me.
Yeah.
So I could no longer do this on my own, or I was going to reach a glass ceiling. I had to start bringing in people and the right resources and the right relationships to help me take the brand to the next level. Yeah. Right? This was no longer an I, me kind of thing. This is we, us.
What was going on where you started feeling that like, whoa, this
I couldn't keep up.
Talk to me.
I couldn't keep up with everything that was happening. There were so many moving parts, and we started chasing after the business. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like,
no,
business, and it's a great problem, but that great problem could turn into a really big problem. And the great problem was we had more people than we had stores. So we couldn't build fast enough, and we had all of these people that were standing in line for hours. And then what happened? You know, people start to complain because the level of service that they want, they can't get because we can't supply the demand.
Yeah.
So when it came time to have the conversations about get money, all right, we need to grow because obviously people want this product, people love this brand. But if we go at the pace that we're going to lose the momentum.
Wow.
Because people are going to stop coming. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying shit that people ain't talking about.
For sure.
Right? So that level of investment, it was not just about purely getting money. It was about getting relationships with the right people who have the operational experience that will allow us to get the advice and feedback that we need so we can be more operationally sound, so that we can open up more locations and we can begin to supply the demand.
Yeah, that's CEO maturity, I believe, because it's cool to say, yo, people wrapped around the block and they're waiting on a burger, but you still had the maturity to say, hold on, there are some people that are saying, I'm not going down there. There's too many people there.
Yes. And we would lose people that way. It came to a point where everybody like, I love Slutty Vegan, but I ain't come down there. Let line too long. And while it sounds fun, like, okay, it's a good problem because we got a lot of people that want to come and standing in line. But then when you start peeling back the onion, it's like, okay, we could be making so much more money if we had more restaurants. So we're losing money just to say that it's cool that we got a line down the block.
Yeah.
That ain't cool.
Yeah.
When you think of the big picture, right? So here we are 4 years later, we still have lines, but now we have the infrastructure to support the people who are standing in line. So you no longer standing in line for 8 hours to get a burger. You're in and out. You get your food in and out because now we got systems in place. We got structure. We got SOPs. We got more locations. And now people can have a better experience so that when we duplicate this business, it's more of a pleasant experience instead of one that like, oh, Slutty Vegan got lines wrapped around the block. I don't know. I can't stay in line for that. I love them, but the line too long.
Yeah. I caught myself saying that one time. My wife's like, yo, let's go to Slutty Vegan. I'm like, I ain't got that much time.
Yeah.
Did some of your investors come with mentorship to like
all of them
guide you? Because I don't think I saw like a public raise. I think I'd have put something on something if I'd have known. How'd you do that?
So a lot of people have been trying, even till this day, have been trying to invest in Slutty Vegan. but I'm very intentional about what I do. So I don't care how much money you got. Like, I got to feel your spirit. Yeah. Like, we got to be kindred souls together. Yeah. Because I am professionally getting in a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. So remember what I talked about Derek when I said that, like, I need him? Yeah. Like, I want to be able to need y'all and y'all need me. Right? This is a two-way relationship. So I needed to be mindful who I was getting in bed with, because I have heard horror stories of small businesses that have done raises and gotten in bed professionally with investors and regretted it. Yeah. And hated their investors and fell out of love with the business because the investors became a nightmare. I never wanted that for my business because again, Pinky Cole did not create this business to make money. So when I decided to go with the investors that I went with, there were things about their ethos and who they were as individuals that I admired. Yeah. Richie Lou Dennis, I admire him as a black man who came from nothing. So he knows what it feels like to pull a business up from the bootstraps.
Yeah. That's one of your investors.
Yes. Gotcha. He knows what it feels like to be an underdog, right? So he was a no-brainer for me, right? Danny Meyer, he knew what it was like. You know, one thing I respect about Danny Meyer is when he started his company.
Who's Danny Meyer?
He created Shake Shack. Yeah. So now he has Union Square Hospitality Group, EHI. So anyway, so what they did is they did a lot of community give back. So if you know anything about Slutty Vegan and Pinky Cole, all I do is community give back. 100%. And I needed investors to understand that just because I'm getting money, I'm not going to stop helping people. Yeah. And it takes money to help people. But because he comes from that world and that's how he built his foundation, I knew that he would understand. You understand what I'm saying? So we have like-minded connections on both sides. So now I got the Michael Jordan of food and I got the Michael Jordan of marketing on my team. And now I'm able to grow. But I was very intentional about that because it was not just about the money, right? Because I could get money from anywhere. I could call up a couple rappers and say, hey, come together, boom. And they wouldn't care. They would just give me the money. But it wasn't about that. It was about the relationship that I was building with these people and making sure that I could pick up the phone when I wanted to.
I love it.
Making sure that, like, if I needed some real advice, that I could call them and not have to set an appointment with their assistant. I can call any of my investors right now in real time and say, hey, what's up? How you doing? What you doing? I need a favor. Can you help me out? Right. And they will be there for me. Those are the kind of relationships that I wanted. And those are the relationships that I have. And
with your relationship comes all of their relationsps too.
Absolutely.
See, that's like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, man.
Listen, you remember the pyramid scheme?
Absolutely.
Back in the day? It's almost like that minus the scheme, right? Like, you tap into one person, you tap into their whole entire network. Yeah. So I am tapping on this side into the network of one of the most successful restaurant creators in the world and all of his network. And then the person over here who owns one of the biggest urban magazine in America. I get to tap into that audience, plus the audience of his portfolio and all of the companies that he's invested in. So I'm tapped into everybody.
Yeah, it's this 100 million's making sense now.
Yeah, like,
you are brilliant.
Thank you.
Because if I was going to do a raise, I'd be like, oh, you got the money? Oh, yeah, I need the money because I know what I'm doing. But you realize, there's some things that you don't even understand that you don't understand yet.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing, right? That's a beautiful part of it, right? Like, the more that I grow, the more that I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I can humbly say this now. I didn't, until a year and a half ago, really understand equity and safe notes and convertible notes and like phantom equity. I didn't know what the hell. What are you talking about? Yeah. I didn't care about that because I'm just like, I'm growing my business. I'm here for the people, right? But as I grow, I realize that I know nothing. Wow. And I'm trying to learn everything. And the path is so beautiful because I have people around me that will teach me the things that I don't know. I used to not know how to do a P&L or read one. And I used to be embarrassed about that until I got to a place where I said, okay, I'm learning. Yeah. Like, I'm a new CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. I'm learning. And guess what I started doing? I started hiring and putting people in place who were smarter than me that could teach me. So now I'm going to school. So I'm going to Harvard for business.
Are you really?
Slutty Vegan. You understand what I'm saying?
You get to take their degree and teach me all the stuff that you learned.
It's a metaphor. It's really not hard. The University of Slutty Vegan. Okay?
Right. I was about to say that. You're committed.
Atlanta campus. Right. But what I'm saying is...
But those people that went to school, you get to learn all the stuff that they learned because...
I get to learn what they learn and their expertise and all the money that they spent getting their degrees. Right. I get to pay them and hire them to teach me what they learned at school.
I love it.
And that is what more entrepreneurs should do. And I learned, the minute that I learned how to do that, life got a lot easier for me. Yeah. Sleep felt a lot better for me. My anxiety level went down because I started hiring people that were smarter than me, that had the expertise that I didn't have. And then when you loop in the investors, it's a recipe for success.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing. You said something about international restaurants?
Yes.
What you got going on over there?
Trademarks. I got my international trademark. That's about it. But the long-term play is to be able to say that Slutty Vegan is an internationally known brand with brick and mortars everywhere.
Yo, it was I was literally just talking to my man, shouts out to Lemire. He got Happy Ice out in LA. And he said there are a lot of people from overseas that there are, let's say, like restaurant chains that have died in the United States, but they are so lit overseas because they want everything that came from
Let me tell you something. You ever been to Jamaica?
Yes.
You know I'm vegan, but when I say they treat KFC like it's the best thing since sliced bread, okay,
right,
I'm like, why do people love KFC? No shade to KFC, I'll eat it. But like, you go to Jamaica, KFC is a whole nother experience.
Yeah.
So obviously there's something that's happened internationally that we don't know in the States. Yeah. So the plan is to put Slutty Vegan overseas. The first stop may be Jamaica because that's where I'm from.
I love it.
But I'm looking forward to what the future looks like. I'm just looking forward to growth.
Yeah.
If you would have told me 4 years ago that I would have one of the most popular brands in the country, I would have said, stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to know that I have I gotta say this. Eminem is one of my favorite rappers. One of my favorite rappers because he got this one song that I love.
What's the song?
You better lose yourself in the movement. The moment you own it, you better never, in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss a chance to blow because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yeah. Right? I might have butchered the lyrics a little bit, but you get the point. But I say that to say that I, Pinky Cole, have an opportunity to either stay on the left side and just have this popular company that people know and like, oh, Slutty Vegan, you want to get slutified? Or we can become an iconic brand and be a household name that people are reading about in history books and doing case studies on the brand. And when you talk about hospitality, you're talking about Slutty Vegan. And when you're talking about impact and changing the world, you're talking about the Pinky Cole Foundation. I got that opportunity. I can get lazy and just be popular, but I don't want to just be popular. I want to be iconic because with that level of iconism,
good word.
I might have made
like that.
Iconism, there's power to that. And when you have power, there are no limits. And when there are no limits, you can make impact. And that level of impact will change the course of how people think about the world and the things in and around the world. Oprah has that level of power.
100%.
Beyonce has that level of power.
Pinky Cole
has
that level of power for sure.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious. You just wrote a book too?
Yeah, I did. Eat plants, bitch.
Let me ask you. All right, so with the name, there's a little bit of profanity in there.
A little bit.
I mean, do you think that would hurt sales or that would kind of keep you from certain places or? All right, not on this podcast. Come on, Piggy.
You know what I did? You want to know why I did that? We put so much power in the words that people get uncomfortable by certain words that we put the power on. I really redefined the word slut and made it a word in a term of endearment.
That's true.
Slut is a powerful word. Call me a slut. You understand what I'm saying? I have redefined a word and made it a positive term to make people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
the word slut. So when you think about eating plants, bitch, I'm not calling you a bitch.
Right.
I'm adding new power to a word that once upon a time was seen as derogatory, that was seen as something that people would take offense in, right? So do I think that it will affect the sales? You damn right. People are going to buy it. And people are going to buy it because it's authentic, it's real, it's raw, it's in your face. Sometimes you got to slap people in the face to get them to pay attention.
That's true.
Which is why Slutty Vegan has become successful. Because we slapped you in the face and called you a slut. And say, slut, you got to dance for your food. And it worked.
Right.
All the while raising the ecosystem of communities and impacting people and giving people resources and paying debts in college. And showing people that we're going to turn your lights on and giving out fruits and vegetables and coats. And I can go on and on and on and giving insurance to black men. We have redefined a word. So if people get so locked into a word, then you got the wrong idea.
Better talk that talk, baby.
And you need to go get your iPad and take the iPad from your kids who watch your shit worse.
Oh, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about the book.
What is it about?
It's about vegan recipes. It's a cookbook. And a cookbook that's infused with a little bit of my life story because I'm taking you on a journey. So I ain't giving you everything.
So it's not just a recipe. It's not just like recipes.
A recipe book, right? I'm giving you a little bit of my life story and like how I got here, my family background. But what I like, what was that? What I like about the book is that it is for the meat eater. It is not for the vegan. Now, vegans, I want y'all to buy it now.
Right.
But it is for the meat eater.
Explain that.
91 recipes that will blow your meat-loving mind. And I did that because what I realized is I have created an audience for people who eat meat that want to just scratch that curiosity, right? There are people that come to my restaurant that don't even know fries are vegan. Right? There are people that come to my restaurant and that have never had vegan food ever and only trying it out because of the hype. And then after they try the food, they're pleasantly surprised. So I realized if I created a book for the people who aren't really familiar with this world, who aren't really necessarily interested in being full-time vegans, but will try it if it's good, then I know if I can get their attention, then I've done something right. So all of the recipes in the book are familiar to the food that meat eaters typically eat. So we got all of the hearty, soul food style foods that you wouldn't even know were vegan, but are vegan and are just damn good recipes that so happen to be plant-based.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So it's not all like how you can use impossible meat to make a meal. It's like a complete. Yes. If I just want to do a little better than I'm doing right now.
It's like real food. It's not like real food. It's real food.
Oh, that's lit.
It just so happens to not have the flesh of a dead animal in it. And no dairy and no eggs and no butter and no milk. That's it.
You have a copy here? You have a copy?
We will get you a copy.
I wanted to show the people. Let them know because I'm going to go.
Let's put it in post.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So why the book? Why now?
Well, the book was a long time ago. It's just coming now because supply chain issues. However, timing.
Yeah.
Everything is within timing. I knew that if people could take the Slutty Vegan experience home, then they would be happy about it. And now they get to take the Slutty Vegan experience home.
Gotcha.
And to be able to do a cookbook at such an early age in the business when people love the brand so much, is like, it is a right of honor. Like, damn, like I did a book.
That's so crazy. It just hit me that the business is still young.
Yeah.
That just hit me when you said that.
We 4 years old. Like our teeth just fell out. Like we barely walking. Okay, we eat solids, but you know what I'm saying. Like we whining sometimes here and there.
That's crazy.
Like we putting our hands and stuff we ain't supposed to put our hands in. Like, we are the typical 4-year-old. We just turned 4, so we think we grown a little bit, but we not. We still got a lot to learn. But like we growing, and we're still a baby.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. Literally, your whole life can change in 4 years.
I literally have watched my life transition in 4 years.
And what's cool is like every area, because when I first met you, I don't think you had no man. And you ain't had no kids. And you just had a restaurant. And I don't think you had investors. Like, it's like every part of your life, the family, business, relationships.
And let's talk about this too, because as I evolved, the people around me evolved. And I'm specifically talking to entrepreneurs now. Yeah. When you elevate in your life in business, everything around you got to elevate. And if everything around you is not elevating, they got to go. And I have had to let go of some very long lasting relationships because I'm in elevation mode. And I realized that I was the only one elevating. You understand what I'm saying? And that level of elevation, it gets difficult sometimes. But because I know where I'm going and where I want to go, and I'm clear about that, there is nothing that's going to come in my way of getting what I want in that level of elevation.
Oh, personal question. So you've had some people that you've worked with or kind of like your employees that you thought were going to be. Let me ask you, is your original team of people that you felt you were going to build your business with, are they still around?
Yes.
All of them?
The core ones, yes. The very core.
Yeah.
So my oldest employee is still with me. Her name is Angel. She started as an intern. And then I hired her as the social media intern. Then I hired her as my assistant. And now she's the business manager of the entire company.
Oh, wow.
She knows every single password. She knows everything. She is the vault of the business. And then Maisha is the second oldest employee that I have. She is the operational guru of my business. So they are my left brain and my right brain, and they have been with me since the very beginning. And then Jason came on in 2020. And then I have a couple people, shout out to Rue, shout out to Tanya, my people who have been on the ground, and every single one of them that have been here with me from the beginning, all have elevated and are now running my company.
Got you.
So the moral to the story is all of the people that went hard for me, I now go hard for them.
Yeah.
They were loyal to me. I am now loyal to them. All of them have phantom equity in my company. All of them are making high salaries in my business and are able to continue to grow because they showed up and showed their dedication to the business.
I love it. I love it. You also, which I guess it makes sense now because you're about to almost revitalize a magazine.
Yes.
Jet, right? Jet magazine, which I remember being a kid watching it, like having that Jet magazine on the kitchen table, right? And it just kind of, I don't know, just kind of just dwindled with the internet, I suppose. How did this come about?
So one thing about Pinky Co, I'm going to shoot my shot. And you don't have to just shoot your shot in the DMs, okay? I went to Essence Festival.
And did Richard have anything to do with this?
Rich, no. So I went to Essence Festival. And I met the president of Jet. I don't know who introduced me to him. And I met the president of Jet and I walked up to him.
So they still have a magazine?
Yeah, but they're bringing it back.
Gotcha.
So they're doing a whole revamp, right? And I pitched the idea to him. I said, hey, you should make me Jet Beauty of the Week. But this time we'll say Jet Beauty and Brains of the Week. I had this whole idea. Like I had this whole pitch. I just walked up to him in real time. Right. He was like, let's talk. He was like, I love that. Let's talk. Because he was telling me how they're bringing Jet back and blah, 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 blah. So he called me a couple of weeks later. He said, I like your idea. Let's do it. And what we'll do is we'll do a whole magazine. And the magazine, you'll be the cover and you'll be Jet Beauty of the Week. And all of the contents in the magazine, you will be the content of the magazine. All things Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan brand.
Dang.
Everything. Yes. So this is a limited edition print. We're printing 10,000 copies.
Wow.
And it will be in stores, limited stores. And I'm excited about it because when we think of Jet Magazine, Jet is a part of the reason why our culture is as rich as it is.
100%.
This was the magazine for Negroes.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go back to 1951 and you look at all of the magazines, you had all of the most prominent Black people in America at a time where segregation was at an all-time high, gracing this level of magazine. So this was our Hollywood. Yeah. So for me to be able to partner with Jet Magazine, to be the cover girl, to be the Jet Beauty of the Week, and every single piece of the content is all of the cultural things that I'm doing, I don't take that for granted. That's big.
That's huge.
That's huge. And what I realize is that social capital and currency that I was talking about, I'm able to tap into brands and help to take them to a place where it re-exposes them to the world in a way that we know how relevant they were and how relevant they are.
Yeah.
So like, I'm honored that Jet would even include me in their magazine, right? So although this is a collaboration, it feels so good to know that I can do this. And what's so special about the magazine is I'm also highlighting my team.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I just got to ask though, because we obviously haven't seen Jet in a while. This is like really like a collector's item or NFT or something. I don't understand that game. But the fact that it's only 10,000, that's really, really dope. So I'm definitely going to try to get as many copies as I can. But did you like try to get equity in the whole magazine? Did you have that conversation? Because you understand you are going to bring it back.
We working.
Okay.
So I'll say this. I am a relationship person, right? Mm-hmm. This project for me wasn't like, oh, I need y'all to give me a piece of it. Yeah. Like, this wasn't that kind of project. For sure. It was like, okay, it's a great opportunity. How can I be a part? How can I be of support of this amazing brand?
Great opportunity for you or for them?
For both of us.
For both.
Like, yeah, it's a great opportunity for both of us. And, you know, Jet Magazine is one of those magazines that we grew up on. Yeah, 100%. I wanted to be able to have a partnership with them. Yeah. And whatever comes out of that in the future, will I say no? Hell no. I will definitely be a part of all the things that they want to bring me into. Yeah. But what I do know is that this magazine with me on the cover will definitely make some waves. And I pray that it makes the waves that will put Jet back into the forefront like it used to be back in the day.
Yeah. Yo, when Mike told me about it, when he said it, it gave me like a bit of nostalgia a little bit. And I was just excited that they're coming back, because there's not a lot of magazines that, I don't think there's any really, that's like highlighting our people. How, I mean, this was at a time, right, where like the whole country's at odds, and it's at odds today, but someone was bold enough to say, yo, we are going to make Black beautiful.
Yeah. Right? And if you didn't remember anything else, every little girl, every teenage girl always went to page 9 or whatever page it was to look at Jet Beauty of the Week. Yeah. Yeah. And Jet Beauty of the Week was the most beautiful Black woman who was educated, smart, and sexy as hell. Chocolate and sexy. Mm-hmm. And that was the image of what a Black woman was to us. Yeah. Right? And now we get to bring it back.
I love it.
And I'm excited.
I love it. You should be. I don't know. We talked about a lot. You buy a lot of real estate. I'm seeing what's going on. Do you have a mentor in that space, or you just kind of buying what you like, or?
My mentor is YouTube University. I do a lot of research. Me and Derek, we're actually under contract for a duplex right now that we close on the 14th.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
How many years you got now?
Well, we had 20. We just sold 5.
At the height of the market.
And and made almost $100,000 profit, and we held it for like 7 months. Yeah. Dang. Yeah.
So is that like a lane that you're like serious? Well, I guess you're seriously building it, but are you seriously building it?
Can I tell you the truth? Yes. I'm being so transparent. The reason why we buy so much real estate is because we bring in a lot of revenue outside of just the business. Mm-hmm. And just as fast as you can get money, you can spend it. Yeah. So our savings is to buy property, because we know that we put money into the property, it'll get more money than just sitting in the bank. 100%. And then we can't touch it to spend it. Yeah. So we know that we got our little savings plan. We call our houses our little rainy day funds. So as we continue to grow, every single time we do a speaking engagement, we buy property. Every single time. And we call it patient capital, because there's going to be one day where all of the houses will pay for the life where we don't even have to, like, we ain't relying on Slutty Vegan or Big Days. Yeah. We ain't relying on nothing else. It's the real estate that will really create that true generational wealth that we want. Yeah. And we just buy properties. When we see a good property, we buy it.
Let me ask you, does the stuff that you do outside of Slutty Vegan financially, is that like, how does it stack up against the money that you make from Slutty Vegan? Like, is it like rivaling it? Are you seeing outside the brand pays more than the?
You've been asking a lot of questions.
No, it's my job.
So I'll tell you the truth, because I'm totally transparent. Mm-hmm. Since I started Slutty Vegan, I put myself on payroll in 2020. because I've always been the person, every single dollar goes back into the business, and I'm still that way. So since 2020, I have paid myself a paycheck. I have given myself raises, just like if I was working for a company, giving myself raises, giving myself bonuses. I've done that because I'm so committed to growing my company. Can I take all the money if I want to and just do whatever I want to do? Yeah, but I'm not that kind of entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I have a big vision for my brand. So I'm very disciplined when it comes to the business. So disciplined that like I discipline myself. It's my company. It's my money. I can do what I want. I won't even get gas on my company card because I'll use my personal bank account to get gas. Like I'm disciplined to a fault. Some people like, Pinky, come on. Like, it's your company. Like, use the card. But I'm also thinking about the bigger picture. I want my books and my records to be so clean. Yeah. And in order for it to be so clean, I gotta be super disciplined. Yeah. Right? I just literally started putting my makeup on the company. I was paying for it out of my other pocket, my personal pocket. They're all my pockets. But I had to realize, like, okay, all right, cool. I'm doing a lot of interviews and I'm speaking about Slutty Vegan. I can make this an expense. Yeah. But I've always been very disciplined. But I do very, very well outside of the business. I do very well. I do very well. So much so that I am able to not have to touch Slutty Vegan because I do a lot of speaking engagements and thought leadership, things that I really, really like to do. And a part of that is, you know, with his as well, is what we do. And we put that in our pot and we grow.
I love it. I got to ask about the podcast because I am so passionate about podcasting, and you have a voice and you're like an endless well of information. And I believe that you will be like one of the biggest podcasters in the world.
Think so?
What? Oh my gosh. As a podcast, you have to have something to say. You can't just be cute. You can't even just have the receipts. So some people, they're good at building a business, but they can't really talk about it. Yeah. It's hard for them to explain how they did what they did. Right. And then there's some people who don't have any receipts, but they just talk really, really good and they sound good on a microphone, but you have a unique blend of both. So,
you know what I'm thinking about?
Talk to me.
I'm thinking about the Pinky Cole show, TV show. Like a daytime talk show.
Let me not disrespect you with a podcast.
Yo. Podcast is still on the list, but I admire Oprah, right? I admire her because of her story and what she represents. And as I maneuver in my career and my journey, right, I studied what she's done to get to where she is. And while I clearly don't do everything that she's done, I look at a lot of what she's done to get successful, and I model my career and what I want, and I create my own blueprint at the same time. Gotcha. But I always wanted a TV show. Yeah, I always wanted my own show.
Since you produce shows.
Yeah, I remember that. I am a television producer. Yeah, by heart. That's what I love to do. So I want to be able to have my own TV show, and I want the kind of show where like it's a feel good show where like I'm showing ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Yeah. That's the kind of show that I want.
That'll be dope. Yeah. Let me help you. I just want to be able to tell my friends I'm helping Pinky Cole.
Let's do it.
Okay, I don't need no money. I don't need nothing.
Podcast business, so I mean, like, if anybody's going to help me, it needs to be you.
Absolutely. I just want to be a part of this greatness because I feel like you got some stuff that Oprah didn't have when she was starting out.
Thank you.
Like, seriously. So, like, I just want to be a part of history. That's all. So,
can I ask you a question?
Please.
From the outside looking in, when you think of me, right, as an entrepreneur who has influence, because I'm not an influencer, right? I'm an entrepreneur.
You for sure are.
I'm an entrepreneur who has influence.
Yes, okay, I feel that.
There's a difference. An author, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur. When you think of the impact, if you were describing me to a sea full of people and the impact, I'm curious to know what you would say.
Fearless. I got one word for you, fearless.
Thank you.
That's it. Like, it's almost like you have an idea and you go at it. And there's not even a shadow of a doubt if it's going to work or not. And that's fearless. So when you walked in here and you was like, yo, I like this. And he was like, yo, it's not that I like it because I like it, but I'm thinking I'm going to buy a building and I'm going to do this. Yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to do it because you are just fearless. I don't know if I'd have went up to Jet Magazine and said, hey, what about this part? I don't know. I don't know. So that's one thing I admire. That if I had to do like a 20-minute TED Talk on you, it would be fearless. And I would have a case of how you're so fearless.
Speaking of fearless, can I just shout out all the Black-owned businesses in America?
Absolutely.
I don't know if you watched my page, but I put a post up and said, because I'm going on tour, I said that I wanted to wear Black-owned businesses on my tour. Do you know that I put that one post up? It got 9,000 comments. And so far, I'm at 2,500 packages.
I saw that on your page. I think I saw it, but I was in a place where I couldn't listen. But I'm seeing like you're doing all these packages, and I was like, and I meant to come back to the post. Yeah, that was apparel being sent to you.
I'm actually wearing Black-owned businesses now.
Wow,
from my head to my toes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and. You know,
that's why you're so dope, man. Like, who does that, man? Golly. You could definitely do Gucci and the Louis and the Birkins and all that. Like,
Gucci, who, Birkin, what?
I'm
wearing Black-owned brands because what I realized, I said to myself that if God gave me the platform to be able to rise, I'm going to take people with me. And I always noticed that a lot of, I've never seen it. I've never seen celebrities wear Black-owned brands when they made it. And I always wonder why. Right. So I'm like, well, I could do that. Why couldn't, I could be the one to wear a Black-owned brand and like give them the exposure, especially if it look good. It got to be heat, though,
for sure.
And do you know that every time I wear a Black-owned brand now, I take a picture of myself, I put it on my page and I tag them. And every single one of them have told me that either their websites have sold out, I done crashed their websites. Like the power of group economics is real. That's what I'm building. Like, that's what I want my legacy to be, which is why I asked you, like, when you see me, like, what do you see? And I appreciate you for saying that because I want people to see and know that the idea of Pinky Cole is that I was always the person to help everything around her be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I want people to remember me for.
Just to be able to like just go out there and be that person. I don't care what people think about me. I'm always going to help my people. That's just fearless. When you were talking about the ghost equity last time, like that is fearlessness. Like, yo, I'm going to put my people on whether they like it or not, whether it's not as good for me as like there's Harriet Tubman was fearless. I'm going to get there. Right. And the fact that you're putting like everything that you do on display for your people. And it's just nothing but pure inspiration.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Is there anything we missed? Did we cover everything? I know it's not. Just promise we will have a part 3. Yes. You got something for us? The store opening. You have another store opening?
Yes.
Is it not? It's not Slutty Vegan. It's a store.
No, it's Slutty Vegan.
Okay. The ninth one you said? Mm-hmm. Tell me, where's it going to be at?
In New York.
Where are we? Okay, give me all of our locations.
RDA, Edgewood, Jonesboro, Athens, Birmingham, Brooklyn, Harlem, Gwinnett, Columbus, Georgia. Bar Vegan.
And Bar Vegan. Okay. Where else you want to go?
Everywhere. World domination. I'm dead ass. I want to be everywhere. And I'm not going to stop until I get everywhere.
And you're always looking for places to plant one.
I will put a Slutty Vegan in this studio if you like. I'm dead ass. But yeah, I'm looking for locations that speak to the brand.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that rise is scary. But it's fun at the same damn time.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it. Like a Black woman scaling a brand, like, and it's me. Like, I wake up some days like, this is really my life. Like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I do not take it for granted. That's why I'm always humble because it could be taken away.
Yeah. What's the process of idea to opening? What's all the stuff in between there? I think Brooklyn, right? So you think Brooklyn.
Team.
I found a spot. to opening? What's going on?
Okay, so the first thing that happens is we identify the spot. Yep. Then the architect comes in and draws plans for the space. Once the plans are in,
do you have the same architect?
Yeah.
For all of your. Oh wow, okay, that's dope.
So once the architect draws out the space and what it will look like, we approve the plans and we bring the GC in. The GC takes it from there and does what GC does and builds up the space, and they have their subcontractors and they do what they do. And then we talk about finishes, we talk about all that stuff. But what's happening now is because we're wash, rinsing, and repeating, everything is now starting to look the same minus the aesthetics, right?
And faster, I would imagine, yes.
And faster because we're buying everything in bulk. Yeah. And then toward the end, my designer goes in and he designs the space. All of my Slutty Vegans look different. On purpose.
Really?
Yep. I wanted it like that. I wanted you to get the same overall experience, but many experiences with every single location that you go into.
Got it. Yeah. In your mind, your expectation timeline of, okay, this is the one, it's opening. What do you?
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Huh?
6 weeks.
No, not from the time you have the idea and build it out and all that.
6 weeks.
They're building Slutty Vegans in 6 weeks? Really?
6 weeks.
It took me 2 years for this job. Yo,
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
That's why it's important to have a good team. Let me tell you what I learned talking to the entrepreneurs again. A good team will save you years of headache and heartache.
Oh my gosh.
You have the right people, life will feel beautiful. You have the wrong people, life is going to feel like a damn pain in the ass.
You can have an idea, identify a location, get it, and you would you can open that joint in 6 weeks.
There's so many moving parts. You got the operation team that are doing the operational thing while the restaurant is being built. You got the designer that's building out the aesthetics in the studio and then bringing it to the space. You got the person who's putting up the sign that's getting the sign permits all at the same time. Then you got us who are calling the city, make sure that we got the proclamation. Then we got a whole grand opening team that's doing the whole grand opening experience. Everybody is working at the same time, at the same exact time. And then we have this big celebration and the location is open and on to the next. And every time we do it, it keeps getting better and better and better.
The longer I talk to you, the more I'm impressed. Like, I really am just impressed. And the longer I talk to you, the more this $100 million valuation and my idea of you becoming like the first billionaire that I've watched go from not being a billionaire. Like, you were the first person I ever booked. Remember in 2018, I booked you for an interview. This is before I was interviewing, so I had Coriel do the interview. He was the first person. So like I hold on to that and I brag to my friends. You know what I mean? So
I really appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to jump on your platform.
Absolutely.
Because every opportunity that I get to be able to tell my story and talk to the people is another opportunity for people to learn who I am.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur.
Man, I am honored. Look, man, we got to get out of here. It was longer than I tried to keep it 60 minutes. I couldn't. Okay. It was just too good. But
okay, I got an honest question.
What's up?
Which interview did you enjoy better? The last one or this one?
This one.
Oh, great.
And I loved that first one.
Great.
But I think it's, I don't know, I'm getting a feeling of evolution and I just need you to promise me that we'll be able to do another one.
Anytime you call me, I will be here.
Oh my gosh. As soon as you hit that billionaire status, which I don't think is going to be long.
The number you have dialed. No. I will be here. I ain't going nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
Because money don't move me. And I value true friendships.
Yeah.
And I love how you're moving and shaking with your platform. So I'm always around.
Thank you. You know what? You just put like some indirect pressure on me because I know you're going to be super successful. And I just got this feeling of like anxiety that, oh my gosh, I have to keep growing because I don't want Pinky Cole to look at me in a year, 2 years, 3 years and say, what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
You literally just gave me some indirect pressure.
I'm putting the pressure on you because I believe in you just as much as you believe in yourself. And I know that's a lot. So even in the moments where you feel like you want to be lazy, like, no, get your ass up. Like it's time for us to get to work. I feel tired all the time sometimes. I told you I cried yesterday. I was telling the truth. But I had to shake it off and get back to it.
Yeah.
Because bills got to get paid. People got to eat.
Yeah.
Success got to be made. Legacy has to be built. And in order for all those things to happen, I got to rise above every single challenge. I got to walk through every single closed door. And I cannot give up just because I'm tired or I'm feeling lazy or I want to give up. So I'm encouraging you and empowering you and hazing you to keep going.
Done.
Because we need people like David Shands.
Done.
To change the world.
Done. And that message was for you too, okay, that's watching this. So Pinky, thank you so much. Just let everybody know how they can find you, or how they can support you, your nonprofit. Just tell everybody everything you got going on. And then you got to close this out with a word of wisdom, because it is a young Pinky Cole out there saying, I want to be that, but they're in a bad relationship. They're going through anxiety. It's something that's not letting them believe that they can have it. So let everybody know how they can support you, and then close us out.
You can find me in the A. No, you can find me on social media, Slutty Vegan ATL on all social media handles. Pinky907 is my personal page, which by the way is just growing. I'm like, people actually are coming to my page. But Pinky907 on my personal pages. If you want to learn more about the foundation and all the great things that we're doing, www.pinkygivesback, and Pinky Gives Back on all social handles. Or Google. We everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. How to get the book?
You can get the book. You can go online, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Gallery Books, like everywhere where they sell books, you can find us.
I love it.
So yeah, just Google Eat Plants Bitch, and the book is available. I'm also going on tour. Ticketmaster.com. The tour kicks off November 14th in New York City, and it ends in Baltimore, my hometown.
Wow.
And there's going to be music, entertainment, all of the above. And it's starting November 14th, and you can get it at Ticketmaster.com. Now, my advice.
Talk to me. I'm ready.
For entrepreneurs. We are in November. And for the people who have had all year to get it right, and for the people who have had all year and still couldn't get it right, we got a couple more days left in 2022. I don't want you to do nothing else but charge your battery. And when I say charge your battery, I need you to be still and get ready. Because when you charge that battery, what you're doing is you're getting in the mindset that you're about to change your mindset. And when you change that mindset, that means that you're looking straight. You're not looking to the left. You're not looking to the right. You're removing old, stale, expired relationships. You are making new friendships. You are creating new energy around you. You are actually doing that business that you keep procrastinating about. And you're actually doing more on social media because you haven't been creating content. But what I want you to do right now is to charge up that battery, because when January 1 hits, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to unplug, and you got to run so fast that you are not looking behind you. You are not looking to the left and the right of you. And whatever is in front of you, that's what you're chasing. That's what you're looking for. And I don't know what it is, as long as it's not money. But make sure that you charge your battery up this year so that you can hit the ground running for 2023.
Done deal. Listen, you cannot close it out no better than that. Listen, make sure you support everything that this powerful Black entrepreneur is doing. And don't support her because she's Black. Support her because she's amazing. And she's an inspiration to us all, okay? So make sure you support and go get you some social proof, meaning go build something. But you have to remember how you build it. You got to document the process, but come back to your community and teach them how you did it. It's the only way our community grows. All right?
And I have to tell you something.
Yes.
I'm pregnant. Like I'm lying.
Okay,
show's over.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.
Slutty Vegan is an anomaly because it's not just about food. It's about the experience. It's about the community work that we do. People think Black-owned businesses aren't organized. They're not clean. Oh, my restaurant is always clean, right? We make sure my books are always tight and clean.